Shane, how are you doing?
Not bad, thank you.
This isn't a car so much as a piece of sculpture.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about LT.
So LT is usually an accumulation of marginal gains. When you have such a strong base car like the 720S, you can't just focus on one particular thing to make an LT. You need to take absolutely every element of the car and engineer it just to make everything a little bit better, and together you come up with an LT.
Well, should we start with the engine? So a 4-litre twin-turbo V8.
So we're up to 765 PS, and also torque is increased to 800 Newton meters.
That's 755 brake horsepower.
Correct,
And
yes.
590 pounds-foot of torque.
Absolutely spot on, yes. And how we've achieved that is we've taken some elements, what we've learned from the Senna. So we have a new piston. We also have a new dual fuel pump design to cope with the increased flow rate. And then obviously the engine's been recalibrated to hit that output figure.
Same 7-speed dual shift.
Yes.
Seamless shift, you guys call
Yep,
it, don't
absolutely,
you? SSG or something. But there's something special here
There's
as well.
something very cool, yeah. So we've optimized the gear ratios, and that's ultimately been done by a more aggressive, shorter final drive. So that is 15% more aggressive, and that gives you a heap more mechanical torque. The gears come thick and fast, and ultimately leads to much better acceleration times.
Well, speaking of which, 0 to 62, what is it, 2.8 seconds?
2.8 seconds.
Anything under 3 is
fast.
Is
So
fast.
720 is 2.9, but that's because we're traction limited. When you look at the 0 to 124 miles an hour time, we're 7.2. So we're down 0.6 seconds over 720.
But that's absurdly fast.
It's really fast. It shifts your organs. It feels that fast. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay, let's talk about some weight figures. Now, one of the challenges is, I mean, the 720S, everything was pretty ruthlessly optimized anyway.
Yeah.
How on earth do you get more weight out of a car like that?
So yeah, we're 80 kilos lighter than 720 din for din. Some of the biggest savings are the wheels. So they're a 10-spoke design. When you look at the wheels in detail, you can see every bit of additional material has been removed from those wheels to make it as light as possible.
I mean, compared to the previous wheel, machined out.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, how much are we talking here? Like grams, aren't we?
Little bits here and there, but as a total, when you take into consideration the new wheel, the tyre, and we have titanium wheel bolts, we save 22 kilos throughout the whole car, and that's rotational mass. So it's a really good 22 kilos.
And you mentioned the polycarbonate glazing as well.
Yes.
How much did you say?
So that's 6 kilos.
6 kilos lighter, but it's at the top of the car.
Exactly,
So it
yeah.
helps centre of gravity.
Exactly, it's really important.
in the right place.
6 kilos, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Aerodynamics being a very, very important part for the LT. We're up 25% in total downforce over standard. If you kind of start at the front of the car, you can see we have a much more aggressive front splitter. It's all carbon fibre. The front bonnet is carbon fibre. One thing that we can't see is the front floor as well. So that is completely new for LT. It helps downforce.
What about these little bad boys
yes.
here? We all love these.
Fender louvers, so wheel arches are one of the most turbulent parts of a car. As you can imagine, you have the wheel and tyre spinning there at very high speed. It creates a huge amount of turbulence and also lift under the car, which is absolutely not where you want it. So by adding in the louvers, we're allowed to extract some of that lift, that turbulent air. Most mid-engine supercars, you'll see an intake usually at the rear side of the car, and that's primarily to cool your radiators. We've kept it hidden, so airflow actually comes in through the door itself into the high temperature radiators, which cool the engine. It gives a lovely clean look and also reduces any drag.
I can see that they are pretty hefty rear tyres, 305 section Pirellis, bespoke Trofeos.
Trofeos, yeah.
Do they work on the road though? Normal. Sometimes these track tyres can be.
They're not optimal on the road. They do need a little bit of heat, but they're absolutely fine, and they will disperse enough water to keep you in a straight line.
Now, I love the front end feel on McLarens in general, but LTs in particular, just the laser sharp way they turn in. But you have to say the business end of this car is what's here, isn't it? The engine's in there. But all this stuff here,
Yeah.
You like this diffuser, don't you?
Yeah, this is definitely my favourite shot of the car. We have a considerably larger rear diffuser. It's creating an area of low pressure under the car, literally sucking the car onto the ground itself.
And that exhaust is a bit special.
Yes.
I can tell.
So it's a completely titanium exhaust system, the first completely titanium system we've ever done from headers all the way to the tips, with 3.8 kilos lighter on the exhaust versus the standard 720,
Amazing.
despite having twice as many outlets. Being titanium, it's going to sound very good as well, and you can also expect some flames.
Flames are good. Yep.
Flames are always
As long as
good.
you're not, right in their way when they're coming out, but that's not going to happen, is it?
Sitting above that, we've got the rear wing. The surface area is 20% larger. It also sits 40 mil higher when it's deployed, which puts it in much, much cleaner free-stream air, which really helps generate more downforce.
Extraordinary.
Being an LT, so some of the first things that you notice is there's no floor carpet, saving weight there. Standard features, we have a new carbon fibre centre tunnel. We see a much more extensive use of Alcantara.
It's everywhere.
Alcantara being a lot lighter than leather. This particular car has the seats out of the centre, the super lightweight racing seats. Just with the standard seats that come on an LT, we save 18 kilos.
But those seats are massively, fantastically comfy.
It's in the ergonomic design of the seats,
Yeah.
not the amount of
Padding
cushioning.
and
Exactly.
Now, remind me, the chassis setup, you know, the thing about all McLaren road cars, you can configure the different drive modes. Can you talk me through them on the LT?
Yeah, so we have the same kind of philosophy of comfort, sport and track modes. They've been honed to be more appropriate for LT. When you're on track and you're crawling on the limit and the car knows this, if you put in a gear shift request, it will actually try and do that in the smoothest possible way. It won't just smash a gear in because that can upset the balance of the car and ultimately send you into a spin.
So 675 LT, which was this car's predecessor. How many of those did you make?
We made 500s.
How many of these are you going to make?
So we are making 765 coupes. Spider is to be confirmed. But yeah, we do have an official number for that.
And I can have a little number plaque in the car as well.
Absolutely, yes. You'll get your chassis number on that.
All right, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna think about my favourite number and then I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
Hey, Shane, thanks a lot.
No
man.
problem. Cheers.
Can't wait to drive it.